Hey, what's going on, nieces and nephews around the world? It is your favorite big unk and Captain Eli here with
Hello.
another episode of Keep Moving, a podcast dedicated to giving you some information while uplifting you. And let's do it with some real talk, straightforward, always and forever. I'm Big Unk. That's Captain Eli. Let's get to it here at Keep Moving.
Hello, hello. We we were cut off last time.
I don't know what you're talking about. This is a
The
totally new episode. We're fine.
Yeah, no, the deep state, they heard gooning and they were like, cut the feed, cut the feed.
You know, it's interesting. My Gmail almost got hacked by someone in Israel, and I just go, hmm, interesting.
Very, very interesting. Very interesting. That's all we can say about that. It's very interesting.
Oh,
We're
I know.
we're
My
like
government,
Gavin Newsom. We find that very interesting.
my government right now is trying to like make sure that none of us ever get to explore the rest of the world again.
Yeah,
Yeah, like don't
pretty
go
much.
anywhere. We're gonna watch you. It's like you're watching me. Watch this, dude. I don't like any country that decides to use people for shields. I don't. I don't.
Yeah.
So I don't like countries that are like, there's one guy in a car, three innocent people. Let's just drop a bomb on the entire town and get rid of it.
Yeah, wedding parties, schools, all of it.
Yeah,
It I think the worst part though is that all that violence is coming home here. It,
yeah. And people are gonna be like, oh my God, I can't believe this. I'm like, what do you mean you can't believe? What is it? What is it about you destroying someone's life? Like, I don't know. I mean, you may not have had all your functions when 9/11 happened, but to me, 9/11 was like, it- there's no words to say how I felt that day. There were no words like grief, anger, pain, sadness, humility. And then one day, like, I remember sitting up in class and I was in my government and politics class at the University of Maryland with Dr. Wisdom. That was her name. Grant Wisdom was her name. And she was Jamaican. And I stood up in the class and I said, listen, I don't know how, because it was right after the 2000 election and a lot of people were still holding on hate. And I was like, look, despite how I feel about George W. Bush, it's like we've been attacked. 33,000 people gone in a second. And so
wait,
I
how many?
think 33,000.
I don't think that's correct.
How many people were in the building that day?
It wasn't 33,000. I think I don't want to say the number because I think it's around 3,000. I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but it
I,
was not that. That's way, 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 way more than
well, how many people died during Pearl Harbor?
similar number. It was a couple of thousand.
Okay. Either way,
Yeah, no, tragedy
it,
nonetheless, but I just
it
don't want
was
to
atrocious. And so
put out misinformation.
uh, I'm not worried about who
I
fucking
am.
cares about misinformation. I mean, the whole
Me.
world's misinformed,
I do.
but okay. Oh, I do. Okay. But the day it happened is that, I was 100% back in the president that day. I mean, 3 years later, I was like, all right, dude, we were in Afghanistan. Now we're in Iraq. Why?
Yeah. What does this have to do with the price of tea in China? Why were they weren't it,
Yeah, that's not the Taliban. And
mo most of the attackers were based in Saudi Arabia, which
yeah, for some reason, we're still friends with those guys.
we never invaded there for some reason. I don't know
Well,
why.
because they're rich billionaire oils.
Well, so was a lot of the supporters of the attack. But yeah, it's one of those things. It's
Yeah.
one of those things.
So yeah. So end of the day, I'm not very happy about those sorts of things. But I don't find it. I find it perplexing how we as Americans oftentimes are like, I can't believe they would come over here and try that. I'm like, I mean, if you took out someone's whole family, they would come for who they thought was responsible, right?
Yeah.
Is that me or
The CIA has a concept called blowback, where you do something in another country and then it blows back on you. The people there now hold grudges. They now are like,
Yeah.
yeah, screw these people and everything they stand for.
Yeah.
You're making friends everywhere you go. Every time you bomb a wedding party or whatever, you
Yeah.
blow up something. And
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just saying,
I
yeah.
think
Sorry.
the world we're experiencing right now with ICE violence is just another part of this. It was always the chickens coming home to roost of the violence we're putting on other people afar, becomes normalized and accepted. Like, well, there are enemies. There are enemies. There are enemies here apparently too. There
Yeah.
are people here that we need to exact violence on,
Well,
and we're now seeing the consequences of that, of random innocent people murdered in the street. Um, Most recently, there was a case down in Texas. It was just a guy driving around. They were in an unmarked vehicle. They were trying to ram him off the road. No lights, no nothing. He thought he was being carjacked.
yeah.
Got,
Yeah.
got him dead.
Yeah. And it was a similar situation. They're like, well, they have their lights. And I'm like, but if their lights are just in their window, it's not on the car, it's hard for me to say if I'm going to pull over or not because
The-
there have been a lot of carjackings
of
where
course. And
people just they just put up the fake lights on their car and they're like, "Well, that's illegal to do." And I'm like, "Yeah, but criminals
crime
don't
is
care."
illegal. Breaking news.
Again, criminals necessarily don't care about the law. The law is so that some stupid kid doesn't do it and get themselves hurt.
Yeah. And
What we
it,
see here, though, is that, hey, these are guys in masks. There's no identifiers, and they go, well, they have their shields on. I'm like, bro, I have seen people with those fake vest on, the fake camo vest, and a shield that says "Happy Birthday, Mom."
yeah.
The shield says "Happy Birthday, Mom."
I would argue that ICE is just a criminal gang that we fund.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean,
I,
I guess there are other agencies within ICE that aren't necessarily police officers with guns. It's more like people doing document work.
I don't, yeah, they're of a piece. They're of a corrupt organization, you know.
Okay. I mean, I don't think so. First off, I don't think the organization is corrupt. I think our government, I think
We
I think
we
our
have a
government,
disagreement there.
okay, that's fine. I think our government's corrupted. I think that has been that's known.
I
I
mean,
don't
we
think,
were just talking about 9/11. ICE came out of 9/11. It's 23 years old.
yes. And again, it was not meant to be like, it was not supposed to be a police force. It was supposed to be used. ICE was supposed to be used to identify people who were illegally still here and be like, hey, because when you try to do it through INS, Immigration and Nationalization Services, that's when it's like, wait a second, there's just too many of them. There was just too many people that were here on visas. We had a much more simpler border system. So, like, yes, we needed more support in that area, but these weren't supposed to be police officers. These were supposed to be like TSA agents, which
Yeah,
also
another
came out of 9/11,
organization.
which was just supposed to be like searching your stuff, doing document paperwork. But now it's a whole spiel. It's a whole thing.
Yeah, you may not thought it was organized as a police force, but it's become one. It's a de
Yeah.
facto one.
Yeah, because our government has become corrupted. So I'm not saying I don't think ICE is corrupt. I think my government has become corrupted.
I guess
It,
I I don't see
yeah,
the
you don't
difference.
see the difference. Well, they take orders, right? Stupid people take orders. They were giving $10,000 bonuses to people. I mean, one of the guys, from my understanding, he had a history of domestic abuse and
Yeah.
assault.
The main shooter, I wrote down some notes here
Yeah.
about it.
And so he had a history
David
of domestic abuse.
Brolette is his name.
His ex-wife was like, when she told him, she was like, yeah, right. Who's going to give you a gun?
She literally thought he was having a delusion that he was an ICE agent. She didn't
Yeah.
believe him.
Yeah. And, she's like, I thought he was crazy. I thought he was like lying. Who's giving this guy a gun?
Eh,
And again, that just shows that people will, I mean, they lie on their applications. The background check wasn't very thorough. And now these whack jobs. I mean, I saw a guy down in Florida basically said he was an ICE agent. He was drunk, and then gave the African guy, he's like, "You're not even from this country. I'm gonna call my boss and get you deported." Like, bro, you're drunk in a car, driving a car with your kids in the back. Like that's not a role model, but yet our government saw that they were fit to give a badge and a gun to. I'm like, this is why I disagree with arming people. Is like you're not doing a thorough review. You will do a bigger review on me because I got into a fight at 19 than you will on a guy who beat his wife.
And a child.
Yeah.
Um, David Brolette had a history of violence. I wrote some notes down. Smashed spaghetti in his daughter's hair, his teenage daughter's hair, in one incident, and in another dragged her around the house as she was crying.
Was this because she didn't vote for Trump?
It was unstated his cause for behind it. I think many would say that it would be hard to justify something like that to do to literally anybody. And then I think a lot of people would also say that that person should never be in power anywhere. They shouldn't be able to like, I don't know, decide anything. An incredibly mentally ill, violent piece of crap, and they saw this guy and were like, yeah, okay, hire him, give him a gun, do it.
Okay, give this guy a medal.
Yeah, give this deranged idiot a gun. Do it now.
Yeah.
And now so he's literally murdered some random guy. They weren't even looking for the fellow they murdered.
The one
Not
in
that
Maine.
in Maine. And in Texas too. They were not looking for that guy. It was the wrong person.
Yeah. So and
Um
again, it
Not
and
that it would
it
justify it.
and they're using profiling to be like, well, he looked like the guy. I'm like, did he? Did
Driving while brown is
did he?
a concept.
Did he? Well, you know what I say to this one, and for all my Latino and Hispanic, followers and nieces and nephews out there, um, black people told y'all. Like this is no different than the people who were like Argentina's racist, and then we go, yeah, yeah, very much so. They were Nazi sympathizers. They believe that they're an all white nation, but when they come here to America, people are like, "You're Spanish. You're speaking that Spanish language, or you've got a little tan. Like you're not one of us." And it goes to show that people will do anything to separate themselves from the color black. Like even Dominicans are like, "Well, I'm not black. I'm not black. I'm Dominican." And it's like, no, in America, you're black. It doesn't matter how many times you try to say it. You are black. And when these folks come to this country, they think at many different points that, well, I'm not them because they want to separate themselves. Like Asian Indians try to separate themselves from that community. I mean, look at Vivek Vaswamy,
Whatever.
whatever, the guy who's running for governor in Ohio. And people are
Yep.
like, yeah, they just don't like him because he's like, well, you're Indian. He's like, no, I'm not. My family's like, we're Christians. And no, bro, like, doesn't
I
matter.
don't think they're actually even Christian.
No, they're not.
Um
His mom's like Hindu. I
yeah,
think
not that it matters.
I think his wife is Christian.
But I think it's notable to say that the party they're trying to associate themselves with are specifically trending towards being a white nationalist party,
Yeah.
if not explicitly, then implicitly.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, I think even JD Vance is saying that, like the way his children are being treated. And again, not that I care, but
Chickens
it's
coming home to roost.
yeah, like when people like we talked about it in previous times, it's like the SA versus the SS, right? The SA, the leader of the SA was gay, and you don't hear much about them anymore.
Yeah, I mean, tokens get spent. You eventually find out that, hey, actually, you're not one of the special ones. You don't get a compensation. They don't say, oh, well, you're okay. You're one of the good ones. Eventually, they'll be like, nah, maybe not. Your camera's shaking.
It's not the camera shaking; it's the fan that shakes the camera, but it does stabilize during the episodes.
Cool.
Yeah. So my camera doesn't shake. It's just it's the stand. It's a bunch of things. But anyway, does that drive you absolutely bonkers too?
Just try not to look at it too closely.
Well, I don't look at it.
Me.
Oh,
Yeah. But yeah, where were we? Where were we? Ice.
yeah, ICE. So ICE has gone and decided they were gonna effectively assassinate two people, and I feel really bad. I think one of the guy's daughter was there.
It's horrific stuff. And I think more and more people are realizing that we need to just throw the thing in the trash. And I am one of those people. I think ICE needs to be abolished and the perpetrators need to be prosecuted, and including higher ups, not just the people doing the murders, the people hiring these people need to face some sort of uh, consequences. There needs to be law and order.
We're not going to get that. I mean, they make excuses for everything.
I will accept no excuses, and I will not support any Democrats who try to make space and say we need to reform, we need training. I'm sorry, that's not good enough anymore. They need to
Well,
be.
at this juncture, Eli, you would create another level of enemies. I mean, the atrocities. I mean, I think if we're willing to break up the Department of Education, we have to be willing to say that, hey, we're not going to get rid of ICE. We're just going to fold it into another agency. Up.
I'm against it completely. I just my
No, no, no,
perspective
no,
is
no. We're going to fold it into another agency, and then from that agency, then they can downsize.
yeah, I that may be your feeling on it. My feeling is they need to abolish
No,
it.
because
You can't tell me no on what my feeling is. That's
yeah,
that's
I'm going to tell you what your
ridiculous.
feeling is because I'm like,
You're
no.
saying no.
I said no, that doesn't work because now look, for good or for bad, people have these jobs, right? And just like the last federal workers that got laid off, there's going to be problems from it. So I think instead of just abolishing it altogether, you have to downsize it to ensure that you're getting rid of the positions that are no longer needed. Like these goon squads, they don't
Yeah,
need to be
no.
needed.
I think the whole thing is goon squads all the way down.
But I just told you that they're not all goon squads. Some people in it are just
There's some
administrators.
very fine people. I heard you.
They're just paper pushers. They're just paper pushers. Hey, this guy overstayed his visa. That's all that guy notices. He just flags it. And then some other guy goes, "We got to go break into their house now." Well, that's not that guy's job. The other guy's just like, "Hey, you overstayed your visa. I send a letter in the mail." The Gestapo are the people that are out on the streets who they hired in mass, right? By the way, when the Doge cuts were happening, they hired a bunch of people to work for ICE. And that's why you're seeing a lot of there are a lot of Latino men, black men, white guys because they're just needed jobs. They needed jobs. And the problem with this administration is more so the jobs numbers have declined for men. Let me say this again. Men's job numbers are declining. Like that means men aren't getting jobs. So there's a rate of unemployment happening. So instead of eliminating the complete thing, you fold it into another agency and then you remove the jobs that are no longer necessary. That means you get rid of all of the street Gestapo and you just keep the administrative guy who's still needed to make sure that people are not overstaying their visas by 10 years.
Was, from my perspective, I don't find the jobs retention argument compelling in the slightest. We need the baby seal clubbers because if we get rid of them, then there won't be jobs for baby seal clubbers. I Yeah, I
Nobody
don't
said,
find that
but
compelling.
not everyone's a baby seal clubber.
Yeah, you're filing the paperwork to club the baby seals. I understand. I understand.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we should put them all in jail. I'm just saying you gotta you gotta clean house.
There
You
are
gotta get rid of it.
consequences with so all right, so you support Trump's Doge initiative.
Yeah,
The
that's
way
what
they,
I said. That those verbatim.
no, I'm just saying
That's a good faith interpretation of
because
what I just
that's
said for
that's
sure.
that's the methodology they used. It's like, well, anything that says black or DEI, you got to fire the person. It's like, well, hold
Oh,
on.
we
Or
could
if it
reform
says
the Gestapo. We could reform them. It could be
no,
the
no, no,
good
I'm not saying
Gestapo.
that because remember they were like, get rid of trans, and it was like, hey, that trans you got rid of is not transgender. It was like
It's
it
a
was like
I,
trans binomial. It's like it means
I think
something
it's a
totally different.
disingenuous flattening of what I'm proposing to say, well, you just want to do Doge. Yeah, I want to do Doge for people who deserve the Doge. I want to cut the
Eli,
unnecessary spending.
there
I want
has
to
to be
cut it.
there has to be a rational process
You're
before you
right.
just
They are Nazis. We should
eh,
fire them. That's my
eh,
rationale.
but I am not saying I am saying there has to be a rational process to eliminate positions because when you do the hack job, the same reason that a bunch of people were against the Doge cuts and like, hey man, we get it. There's a lot of like bloatedness, right? Like let me give you an example of bloated budgets, right? Recently, in the Homeland Security, the requisition, the not Homeland Security, but the defense spending bill, they're asking for like an additional $1 trillion for this war, right?
Yep.
But inside of it, they like put in like money to go to Israel, and it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Why are we giving them money? And they're like, well, if you don't give them money, then our soldiers can't get their deployment raises, which
Yeah.
is like, stop. That is not how this works. You don't force me to give someone else money because I need to pay these other guys because we're sending them to war. That's bullcrap. Don't do that.
No,
And
it's
instead of
ridiculous.
it's ridiculous. And so and again, I'm not for war, but if our soldiers are in harm's way because they're wartime duties and they get an extra $2,000 a month, big deal, give them their money. But don't bundle it with some other bull crap to go to Israel. Like that's not our no, they are fighting their war, whatever. Like I don't need to fund them taking over Christian towns in Lebanon, right? We don't need that. And so that is the same mindset as like me saying, look, you have to separate what we can do versus what we will not do. We can pay our soldiers when we put them in harm's way. That should be done. But we should not give another group of people money as part of that package. That is separate. And I believe it was Thomas Massey, and you froze again. Oh, there we go.